So whenever you are speaking to the social media, you need to be very careful with the choice of words. Now, the social media monitoring is often listening to the media tracking, observing, and to gain the access into what exactly is going on in terms of the public sentiment. So whenever we talk about digital network, we talk about creation, sharing, exchange of information, ideas, connection. Good morning and welcome to the first session, Unit 3, 5th semester, Cybersecurity BCom, where we're going to talk about social media overview and security. I think all of us in this world are a part of some kind of social media. We are into the digital network, and we see that digital network has led us to a different world altogether. So whenever we talk about digital network, we talk about creation, sharing, exchange of information, ideas, connection. So they have become an integral part of a life, and today we feel that if we are not a member of a social network, that means we are isolated in this world. So social media and networks have become a very important part of our life through which we are trying to connect with people, we are trying to connect with different communities across the globe. Now, the use of social networks starts with digital communities, your user profiles, friendship, real-time communication, group communication, news feeds, business and brand pages, and of course, the global reach. So the digital media, that is the social media, is not just about the musics or movies or about any kind of social network that we are talking about, but it's also about the content, it's about the news. There's a lot talking about different kinds of communities, sensitive, non-sensitive information. All of those things are a part of the social network. So when we look into the types of social media, we have social media networking sites, microblogging, media sharing, video sharing, blogging, discussion, bookmarking sites, and of course the professional networks. So we are classifying the social media into different aspects, into different segments as far as possible. Now we also talk about the dating sites or review and rating sites, the live streaming platform, podcasting platforms, niche and specialized networks. So what is happening in the social media factor is that you will be able to see that people are trying to get into social media in different forms and formats. Nobody just wants to have a stereotyped factor where they only talk about news or they only talk about politics or sports. They talk about different varieties of factors that might be from cooking, that might be from computers, or that might be about a magazine. Whatever is the factors that they are talking, they create their own channels through which they are able to communicate and tell the people what exactly their opinions are. Now, the social media monitoring is often listening to the media tracking, observing, and to gain the access into what exactly is going on in terms of the public sentiment. We all know that when celebrities make a comment, it's immediately going to get viral because the comment would have created some sort of emotion, some sort of sentiment in the minds of public. So automatically the reactions that go towards the word in terms of that particular situation against a person, against a situation, against a scenario will automatically create a ruffle among the media factors. So what will happen here is that the social media always waits for these kind of controversial topics that creates a huge confusion among the minds of public. Now we also talk about the data collection, sentiment analysis, competitor analysis, influencer identification, and the further factors of keyword tracking. All of us know that in the recent match between India and Pakistan, which is considered to be the greatest rivalry in the cricketing world, always comes up with something new, something as a surprise for the crowd. The recent comments made by both the teams have made the social media a buzz with a lot of frustration, a lot of new ideas and opinions and emotions coming out all together. Now that's exactly where, if you look into the social media, why it gets viral, why it is always on the top of the mind. The moment any comment made by the players, any kind of body language, physical reactions or verbal word that has been spoken across comes into picture and automatically people start reacting with it, and that could probably go to the level to any extent as far as possible. We also saw recently how the Gen Z in Nepal reacted and put their views in the social media, tried to create a complete chaos. They brought down the government, they burned down the government buildings, and they needed a complete change in the government. And what might be the reasons that might be inside, but then that's the power of social media which can trigger the society and take it to the next level. And that was also seen in our own country in Ladakh a couple of days back, where a Gen Z operator tried to influence and tried to create a chaos altogether. Now let's move forward and try to understand the benefits of social media. We talk about reputation, we talk about customer insights, competitive intelligence, crisis management, engagement, and content strategy. Now, one needs to understand that you just don't go and stand before the camera or before your mobile phone and start talking what comes to your top of your mind. You need to have your content with clarity, and the content should be meaningful enough. So whenever you are speaking to the social media, you need to be very careful with the choice of words. You need to be careful in terms of what kind of impact that it can make towards the society. You cannot just go back and tell people that I just wanted to create a viral content and that was the reason probably I just went on. Now the reason here is that social media always works towards understanding the reputation, the analysis, what kind of words, how are you selecting, and what scenario you are speaking. Followed by which you'll also see that some of the popular tools are Hootsuite, the Sprout Social, Brandwatch, Mention, Google Alerts, and Social Mention. All these things are primarily used to see that whether the social media you are able to get the right kind of words, the right kind of impact, and it reaches the right audience altogether. So social media is definitely the most powerful tool by which you can communicate the ideas to the world. Followed by which the hashtag. Now, hashtag is a metadata tag that is used in the social media, which is used to categorize the content, make it discoverable. I want you to concentrate on this word, discoverable. Why? Because everybody wants to get popular onto the social media by promoting a word, by promoting a community, or by promoting a common thought factor. So the hashtag makes it really discoverable, and then the trending topics get onto the top of it and people start commenting on that. Followed by which the branding, the community, cross-platform use, and the hashtag etiquette. All those things are very important. Why? Because today when we are talking about the news channel, and the moment I say that hashtag India versus Pakistan or hashtag India at UN, all these kind of words are going to be monitored and people are going to look into this factor. Why am I promoting a content? What is the purpose behind it? Now, there are many people who create confusion among the politicians. They try to unnecessarily start passing comments, and sometimes they take very, very sensitive topics and make it even more sensitive among the mind of the public. So hashtags have to be carefully used. Followed by which the viral content refers to the online material that spreads rapidly and widely across the net. I think probably we have lot of examples for this, starting from the India-Pakistan match, which recently happened a couple of days back, where you could see the viral content. The entire Instagram, Facebook, probably YouTube went up with this viral content, one trying to blame against the other country. Now, the aim of that viral content was not just to show a country down, but it was primarily created to create that abyss, to create that viral instant, trying to prove a dominance over the other country. That's exactly where you will see the emotion and engagement of the Indian fans versus that of the Pakistani fans. So everywhere you can see that the viral content is actually creating a great impulse towards the social media platform. Now, similarly, you would see the surprise, novelty, simplicity, relatability, humor, and visual appeal started with the seed audience. All these things have to be a part of the viral content. Viral content essentially does not mean that you're only going to talk about something controversial. Viral content also means that taking a very simple idea and presenting it beautifully to the audience, trying to make them understand about the reality, could also be classified as a viral content. Many a time, common sense plays a greater role than the technicality and than the superior knowledge that we have got. So any video that comes up with a basic common sense idea could also be one of the best viral content. Followed by which the social media marketing, we're talking about platform selection, content creation, content sharing, audience engagement, and the social advertising, which are all a part of the social media marketing. Now, in the social media marketing, we are going to talk about this word influencer and the convention goals. So today what is happening is that people are not just going to buy a product because you and me have told about it. It's going to be influenced to the mind by a person who's really a celebrity online. I'm not talking about just celebrities who come in the reels, who come in the Bollywood, but I'm talking about people who become celebrity through YouTube, through Instagram, through Facebook or Twitter, who actually go ahead and influence your products and thoughts. So once these people come live, they start talking about a food, they start talking about a chemical substance, a cosmetic, whatever is that, automatically the social media marketing goes live in a buzz with all kind of thing. And they are primarily responsible for the branding and the storytelling about your products. Followed by which we also talk about the privacy. When we talk about privacy settings, the data collection, the social media is very, very important about it, because whenever you're collecting the user data, you're including posts, comments, and all those factors. So it is very important for all of us to see that you are able to control this, you're able to give that profile information, maintain the control over one's data, and try to provide some privacy to the user. Followed by which the third-party apps, the location data, data sharing. I think we all belong to a generation of quick commerce, e-commerce altogether. So whenever we're talking about this quick commerce and e-commerce factor, you can probably see that you would be able to get the location specific, the data sharing specific factors, even when you're booking an auto through Rapido, or you're booking some goods through Blinkit or Zepto or any of those kinds. Automatically, there is a kind of rush, there is a kind of push that comes inside, for which you would be allowed to share your data, which becomes sometimes critical because you need to be careful to whom are you sharing this data. Now, the in-platform messaging, phishing and scam that happens in the social media network, followed by impersonation, password security, data deletion. These are all some of the problems that anybody could talk about in the modern social media world. So everyone is subjected to some kind of threat, and social media is not completely free from the attackers. It's always there. You need to be very careful that your data might get deleted, or you might be stalked by somebody, or you might be threatened by some kind of words, verbal abuses, or even through the online messages. So you need to be careful about using the social media. Followed by which the challenge goes in terms of privacy concerns, the cyberbullying, misinformation, addiction and overuse, online harassment that's coming into picture, eroding of privacy boundaries. So everywhere there is some kind of threat, there is some kind of challenge that a person needs to overcome and see that the social media comes to the best use as far as possible. Now with that, you also see the opportunities. The main thing is networking, information sharing, communicating, and then marketing, activism, and global connection, which means to say that there's a whole lot of opportunities for you as an online person, as an online personality altogether. Now, when you look into websites or apps like LinkedIn, you would be able to share and you would be able to grow under a professional community. You can share the information. You can start promoting your company. You can start looking out for the right talent. So there is also the silver lining factors when we talk about the social media content. Why? Because there's a whole lot of opportunity for you to share information, to give people opportunity, to make them know what is happening around the world. So there are a lot of good things, positive things that you can talk about social media today. Followed by which the pitfalls, reputation damage, time wasting, comparison, digital footprints, and the emotional well-being. One of the things that I would like to talk about in this session is the emotional factor. Many people get completely carried away by that online personality thread because people are completely engaged in that social media world. So if somebody is going to comment, somebody is going to troll you, somebody is going to put some abusive words again, that really harms the emotional balance of a person. So let's understand that social media, getting into it 100% and trying to make that as your real world is always a very big pitfall. You need to avoid those emotions online. followed by which we are talking about the security threats, that is your account hacking, phishing, malware distribution, identity threat, data privacy, clickbait, cyberbullying. All these factors are very, very common that we are seeing in the social media platforms. And the inappropriate content, location and privacy issues, social engineering, trying to take out your password, trying to delete your data, trying to take away your content. All these things can another big factor that we are seeing in the social media platform. Now, when we also go further, we talk about flagging of inappropriate content, reporting of inappropriate factors. Why? Because social media also consists of unwanted information which can harm the mind of children, which can harm the mind of young users. So we need to flag all those content. We need to keep away those content and try to keep the social media as pristine as possible. Followed by which we are also talking about, the flagging process where you can review the platform, flag it, select the reason, submit the flag or report, tell it to that platform that this content is not appropriate, the words that have been spoken are not good, give them the reasons. So that will be very, very important for them in terms of flagging. Followed by which we would also like to talk about the laws regarding it. When we talk about defamation or harassment and other things, yes, these things are dangerous today. Why? Because there's a whole lot of cyber policing which is going on. So in case if you're trying to get into some illegal activities, you would be challenged by the law. And hate speech, child exploitation, copyright infringement, all these things are supposed to be one of the most difficult factors that we are talking about. So you should not get into all these factors. And if there are going to be, hate speech and child abusement, you can definitely report it to the cybercrime division and get them arrested. Now, the laws regarding also talk about revenge porn, criminal content, online harassment. All these things are also coming up in a big way where you're trying to post something wrong, where you're trying to picturize somebody wrong. So all these things are said to be inappropriate and they need to be carefully checked on the social media. Now, how to protect your privacy? Use strong password, you verify the information, you always respect others, think before you start posting, engage yourself for a purpose, and be mindful about your digital footprint. Never try to post something wrong, and try to protect your computer and your mobile devices. That's very, very important. Now, for business, you need to have a clear strategy, consistent branding. You need to monitor and engage with your audience. You need to have a good content quality, compliance with the regulation. All these factors will make your business look clean and get a better branding. Now, with this, I come to the end of this session. I hope and believe that all the factors that we have spoken about the social media would definitely help you both in terms of the theory as well as in the practical walk of life. With this, we come to the end of the cyber security syllabus for the 5th semester BCom and BBA. I hope that all these online sessions will help you a lot to score good marks in the coming examination. Thank you once again for joining me through all the session. You have a great day and all the best for your exams.